What do you like about your political candidate or party? What do you actually like about your political candidate or party? What do they do or say or strive for that you feel is vote-worthy? Keep responses positive and focus on only the positives and promoting your side. So nothing like I like that he's not a Nazi or I like that he doesn't say mean things. What are some actual positive attributes? I like the Democratic Party because I'm a teacher and the Republican Party has a vested interest in getting rid of public education. I love public education and I have seen the horrors of charter schools. I cannot vote for a party that wants to gut public education. I like the Democratic Party because I value empathy, equal rights, healthcare and food for everyone. I particularly like my Senator Tammy Duckworth who pushes legislation to support women and children. Her niche area is women in the military and women vets and I'm glad we have someone in the federal government looking out for them. I'm a proud Republican. I stand for traditional American values. I want a strong police force. I want the government to mostly leave me alone. I want fact-based education. I want lower taxes. I want more personal responsibility. I'm voting for DeSantis because he embodies those values. He's a young guy, he's a proven executive, and he genuinely wants to make people's lives better and if willing to pass policies that aren't people but will actually help people. I'm an independent because I'm left of the current Democratic Party. I always vote in every election, always vote Democrat, but I don't consider myself a Democrat at all. I wish progressives had more voice in our government and always hope for it to go further left, instead of what it currently is. I often forget Biden exists, which is welcome compared to the 4 years of non-stop hearing our president go on insane rants and dominate the news for 4 years. But the Democratic Party in the model of FDR and the New Deal. Well, Democrats see me as a human being and my partner as a citizen. That's a low bar but one that Republicans cannot seem to clear. I like that Biden blew the doors off the old 100 days of presidency and then do nothing thing. Also both Obama and Biden provided strong support for American science and technology programs. Big thumbs up from me for that. Positive attribute of Biden. He doesn't want me dead for being queer. I know you said no sad or negative posts but that's my reason. I like being alive and being part of society openly and I don't want to get hate crimed back into how it was in the 80s. Democrats are curious and willing to tackle complex problems with complex solutions. Republicans are dullards who treat complex problems as either hoaxes or something too difficult to solve. Women account for around 3/4 of the federal judges Biden has appointed to date. The judicial system should be way less white man. Joe is making his way fewer white man. What's the reverse of a backhanded compliment? I'll give that instead. I hate that Democrats don't brag or are terrible at bragging about what they've accomplished, both domestic and abroad. I also hate that they aren't more explicit and aggressive about how Republicans actively try to fuck over the rest of us for their own specific voter base. Not being a Nazi is a positive attribute. Is it your contention that it isn't? Democrats are willing to stand up for people who don't represent powerful voting blocs merely because standing up for the right of people to be treated like people is the right thing to do. I'm 60 and I've never had a candidate that became my candidate. I've had candidates I'd hoped would win, and candidates I hoped would lose. I lean a tad left of center, but I can respect and often support certain conservative values. Because every single political candidate that's ever run, must sell their soul to win any nomination, the two candidates left standing have said and done things that would exclude them from being my candidate. The Democratic Party platform actually contains the majority of demands from the left. That's why young folks should vote Democratic Party at a rate of 100. I vote for Democrats. They are sane and they do actual work to try to make the country better. Democrats do work, Republicans do stunts. They aren't fascists and don't have a party platform of racism, sexism, and queer and transphobia. Democrats actually have policies that aren't pure reaction, and sometimes do work to implement those policies. Democrats aren't perfect, but they aren't an imminent threat to democracy. I don't have a candidate and marvel at the idea of liking a politician. They are almost universally not nice people. As for party, don't really have one of those either. I would love a party that would bring some fiscal sense to DC, but we have Republicans who are profligate spenders and Democrats who are economic imbeciles. I just want folks who will fix entitlements. Nobody in DC is up to the job. So it goes. On a romantic level, I like that the Democratic Party is the oldest continuously functioning political party in the world. On a practical level, I like Democratic foreign policy marginally over Republican foreign policy. I also prefer Democratic policies on healthcare, immigration, education, and green energy. Nothing. Each caters to the military-industrial complex while putting corporate interests ahead of those of the people. I really like how my political party is not affiliated with either of the binary readers' unary options in today's US politics. D and R are basically the same thing with different colored masks on. I like being an independent even though there are not normally many independent candidates that actually make it very far without aligning themselves with either of the two major parties. One reason I support Trump is because of his trade policy. His steel tariffs helped reopen a steel mill in my area, which I am very grateful for. He tried to address the negative effects of globalization, which before his presidency was something rarely discussed in politics. My candidate is intelligent, fierce, savvy, and knows not only what she is doing but why she is doing it. And she keeps fighting the good fight. A better question is, what do you like about the political candidates you don't like? I don't trust people who only see good on their side and bad on the other, possible exception for Trump because he's terrible by any reasonable or ideological standards. I like being an independent because I don't want to be responsible for supporting either one of these parties. Pure greed and not for what's right for the people anymore. Republicans are the worst of the two, but not by much. Republicans are having a very healthy primary. There are a couple heavy favorites right now, but there are a bunch of other candidates trying to get their name out there. In reality, Trump is a third-party candidate, smart enough to know we have a two-party system. The media never talks about how Trump tried to take the Reform Party nomination twice but realized it was a loser. It's why the Uni-Party hates him. And America will elect him president again. Trump Kennedy 24. DeSantis has my interest because he is setting out to take down far-left anti-liberal ideas. How dare I honestly answer the question? My party is very good and not being Nazis. The other party seems to be having problems with this. Biden stays bought. He has been loyal to his corporate masters for decades. That Trump guy can't be trusted. Only in it for himself. I like that party that at least concedes climate change is real and that humans are contributing to it. Not a damn thing. I voted the lesser of two evils but have zero respect for either. We the PPA do not get to pick our candidates in the primaries. Big business and the two parties make sure who they want wins. There is no real democracy. My party is Social Democraterna in Sweden. They are inclusive in their policy and they want a somewhat green environment. They are pro-public transportation. I'm registered as an independent. I used to lean more towards Republicans, but Trump changed all that. I don't care for enough of the Democrats to consider myself a member, but until either the Republicans stop backing madmen, or we get more than two viable political parties, I'm casting my vote with the Democrats because they're the most sane party.